All right, welcome everybody to Everything Black. We're recording. We'll be talking about the subject is enough of this type of police. It's time for so-called police. I call them race soldiers. Even for call them race soldiers. These type people, police stop you. They don't do something to you whether you comply or not. So it's a life and death situation when you get one of these race soldiers who pull you over. Pretty much no reason. So any black man in America, when you get pulled over by a race soldier, it don't have to be nothing. This guy just pull you over, try to do harm to you. Anybody that do harm to a black person, any white person that do harm to a black person is a racist. That's racist. Discrimination or discriminating is somebody that just don't like something you got on or something, your color or whatever. I mean, that don't hurt you, but when they do harm to you, it's out there. I want to have a good time, I get started. Something's sticking. Hold on 1 second. Anyway, we're gonna try to keep going. I know y'all hear all this popping in the background, trying to set the mixer words on all that popping. But anyway, anytime one of these race soldiers pull you over, so-called police, and if you go for no reason, this could be your last day on the planet. And nobody should be in that situation. But apparently black men, black people are the ones that have to deal with this every damn day. One of us is getting pulled over for no reason at all. And at some point, one of us, I pray for the black person who have to go through that. Could be me, could be you. But I know one thing, this shit gotta stop. I'm asking that anybody that gets into this show, Everything Black, that when you get pulled over by one of these cops, race soldiers, this could be your last day. Especially if it's pretty much for nothing. This young man is lucky to be alive. They say he could have been another hashtag. Eventually, black people are going to start turning on the police. I mean, this shit can't go on forever. I mean, they think they're going to be able to stop us, pull us over, and not have to deal with us or have consequences in the end, because our lives is at stake when we get pulled over. To be our last days, to be our last time seeing our families when a police officer, so I/police soldier, pull us over. When they pull you over for no reason, somebody get harmed, especially if you're black. So I'm asking Foundation Black Americans to be prepared for that. They pull you over for no reason. harm to you. We have to defend ourselves against any other race, any other group will be prepared for stuff like this. And I'm asking that our FBAs be prepared for stuff like this. So let's go into this right quick. We got Trump. I don't think he's the greatest attorney, but I do think that he's doing something. You know, I don't know about this Black Coalition or this National Black Bar Association. They've been around 100 years, and look, we still going through what we're going through. These guys been here 100 years, and he says that they the biggest and largest group. Yet we have the most problem, getting the most harm done to us.
And his attorney, Benjamin Crump, at the National Bar Association conference. We're going to take a live listen now.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Attorney Ben Crump, and along with Attorney Harry Daniels, and
I do want to say that they did this press conference at this National Black 100-Year Association, National Bar Association. They did this press conference right in the middle of where people were loud talking, and you barely can hear what the man was saying. And they act like they didn't want to. They act like they was doing it on purpose. That's the way it seemed to me. Like they was trying to get loud so you wouldn't hear this guy. And this is a very important day or press conference, and these people are still talking. Like they don't care, right? And for the last 100 years, we can damn sure see they don't care. Now, these are judges and Black lawyers' invention. Where have these Negroes been? All this time, Black people have been getting killed and harmed by police. And yet we have no anti-crime bill, no anti-hate crime bill to protect Black Americans. We need a Black crime bill, not a hate crime bill. We need an anti-Black hate crime bill to protect ourselves against those who want to do harm to us, like the police. So here we go.
National Bar Association President Wiley Adams, we would like to thank you all for coming to this important press update involving the case of William McNeil Jr. We are having a convention, the National Association of Black Lawyers and Judges in America. So we are very proud that the Bar Association relate to racial profiling that in America, especially when it comes to Black, called driving while Black, and the fact that this young man, William McNeil, through him having the foresight to record the interaction with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office,
that's the attorney.
We got to see.
I know his name is Lee something, but he's out of Dallas. He's out of Dallas. From what I
know. About Black is never lost his composure. He was always calm. He followed the teachings of his parents to always show your hands, don't be aggressive, be respectful. And William did all of that, and we
have a young man with his mom. Or as I can see, there's no father standing there behind it. This is another thing that's going on. All these young men being raised by these women. You know, you can't blame the women for all of this, but come on now. We have a lot of single women. We don't know the male side of the story, but this is something that we have to talk about as Black people. We have a lot of women raising young men, single. May have been married, may have not. But this is what's happening. And you hear women complaining about the men. Well, since about the late, I'm gonna say 90s, the early 90s, women have pretty much separated from men. A lot of times they're gonna, you know, I'm gonna have to pull up statistics, but I know that 95% of women in relationships based on finances. I think it's 90%. 60% of Black men raise their own kids by themselves. So that leaves 40% of the women that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, these young girls are going to have to choose, have mostly been raised by women. A lot of my generations were raised by women. I was raised by a woman, but I ended up with my grandparents, where there was a grandfather and a grandmother. There was, parents. There was a male and female who I looked and I saw. A lot of people don't get that. They only get the mother version of things. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it is something wrong with that because there's no male figure. And we'll go into that later, but I do just want to say this is a concern that we have a lot of males being raised by females, and the women are complaining about the males. You know, this has been happening for the last 40 years. You know, after the 60s, around the 70s, there was free love. Then when you hit the 80s, you came into the drug and crack part of the thing, the crime bill and all these things was happening to Black people. Destruction of the Black family. So this is another thing we have to look into. But right now we're looking into how the police or the race soldiers are doing Black people while driving. What they doing to them while driving. While, trying to go from one place to the other. They catching them. Stopping them. Harassing them. Abusing them. And sometimes killing them. Our use YouTube, Facebook, whatever channel this is, fair use. I'm just looking at this thing as for educational purposes. All right, we're gonna keep going.
Witnessed it and heard it with our ears. You can believe your eyes, you can believe your ears. The fact that we know it was driving while Black because William said, "Why are you stopping me?" And the officer told him, "Well, you don't have your headlights on." Even though it was 4 o'clock, that he said, "Why do I have to have my headlights on?" The officer said, "The law says when it's raining or foggy, you have to have your headlights on." It was clear from the video. It wasn't any kind of inclement weather. So William knew that the officer was there. Not, we know it was
Exactly.
driving while
Right.
black.
That's what I want to show. Let me back it up. Yeah, let me see.
That happens in America far too often, especially when it comes to black. He was always calm. He followed the teachings of his parents to always show you driving while black, because William said every day.
This man was.
The fact that William McNeil, as
You're gonna
Attorney
see
Daniels
that
and I
throughout
discussed.
the show. You're gonna see where this guy was hit by this white officer, by this white race soldier. Popped him right in his face. All right, we're gonna go over all this. I'm trying to get as much as I can squeeze in. Instead of doing 30 minutes, I'm gonna do 1 hour so we can get all we can into this one video. So I'm gonna move it along here. Right about here is where I want to start.
We know it was
Right. If I could just.
and we witnessed it and heard it with our ears. You can believe your eyes, you can believe your ears.
Right here. Well, that man bust that glass. I mean, that was part of what they had to do. But when you struck the dude while sitting there, and this is what black men have to deal with. Even if he would have complied, they were going to do this to this man anyway. There's no doubt about that. Anytime black people defend ourselves, we all of a sudden become the aggressor. I hate that. But if you go on Fox News and CNN and places like that, when we defend ourselves, we become the aggressor. Even though we the victim, they don't look at white America do not look at us as victims when we defend ourselves. It's another video I'm gonna do later on, probably not today, but sometime this week, where the Russian, it's a deal that's going on. It's a fight out there in Cincinnati, a brawl, and the white Russian reach up and slap one of the black brothers. And then the black brothers take him down, stomp him out. Had a sister involved too, just like, on the boat. And white America was angry about that. And they called, I want to say they called them good citizens or something like that in America. When they say good citizens, that's a code word for white people, for the white citizens. When they say good citizens, that's for white citizens. We need to do something about these thugs. Thugs is black folks. Thugs is what they call black folks. And it don't matter whether you're an upstanding citizen, black citizen, to them you're a thug. Okay? So let's get that straight right there. But anyway, they were using the code word a good citizen, a good American, or but they turned it and called us thugs because we were defending ourselves. We cannot let them shame us when we defending ourselves. When the brother ran over this cop a while back when they killed his son, that man was confused. That man was in a state of mind that most black Americans would be in when some officer killed, some race soldier killed their son. When they kill our children, you don't know what you're going to do. Because it's known that they would do this. And when it happens to you, you don't know what you'll do. In any trauma situation, we don't know what we would do. So we can't say what we wouldn't have done. That brother did what he felt like he had to do to wait these officers up, and they woke up because 100 of them met him at the courthouse, trying to intimidate him. Wouldn't let black people in there to protect this brother or videotape what they were doing in there. But we had cameras in there, and we saw how all those officers were there to intimidate him. And this is what they do. They intimidate us. And when we try to fight back, they call us thugs. They call us aggressives. They take away the victimhood and they flip it. This is warfare. That's what they're doing. They're starting war against us. They've been having war tactics against us since the beginning. But this stuff has got to stop. We cannot allow these people to keep doing this to our black family. Black people, we have to stick together and turn the tides here. This has got to stop. We can't do another 100 years of this. We can't do another 5 years of this. This has got to stop immediately.
The fact that we know it was driving while black because William said, "Why are you stopping me?" And the officer told him, "Well, you don't have your headlights on."
They're going to show in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and get on down here what dude showed. The cop had a gun on him.
Convicted of anything. He's never even been arrested of anything. But yet, he was treated like a hardened criminal the way they brutalized him. And so at this time, I'm going to have my great co-counsel, Attorney Harry Daniels, talk to you about what this means and how significant of a development this is as we prepare to exploit every legal remedy to get justice for William McNeil Jr. And I know him and Attorney Robinson have been working or getting ready to file the legal documentation. Attorney Daniels.
Thank you, Attorney Crump. You know, at the beginning of this case, when we were retained by William, you know, we asked the question, why didn't you get out of the vehicle? Well, first of all, being stopped and being told that you've been pulled over because you didn't have headlights on in the daytime and being told.
All this is because you didn't have on headlights. I mean, you can lose your life because you didn't have headlights on. This dude was in college, dude trying to improve himself, trying to be self-sufficient, like we all should be as black people. We should all strive for that. And a lot of us do. But on our way to striving for that, you run into one of these race soldiers. And basically, they want us to look at it like it's nothing we can do. Yes, something we can do. And they're not going to like it if they keep treating us this way. They're going to pull the wrong brother over, and that brother ain't gonna deal with that type of shit. He's not gonna let him whoop his ass. He's gonna be whooping ass. You see, they pushing us to this point. In the book of Art of War, you never back your enemies up and don't leave him a way out. See, this is warfare. Black people, we are in war. This is warfare. Y'all need to go get this Jason Black video. Talking about warfare. I mean, we're here. Tariq Nasheed, he put out, I don't know how many hidden covers. At least 5, I think he's working on 6. But y'all need to go watch Hidden Covers. If y'all never saw that video, go watch Hidden Covers 1 through 5. We also have a hidden colors museum out there in California. We all need to go visit it. We all need to donate to that, because that whole history, you know. If y'all don't know what FBAs are, then y'all need to do the research. Y'all need to be, that's what you are. You're an FBA. You have lineage all the way back to the slave fields. And before that, before they started all that, we was here. I see that the Native Americans or the Indians have Cherokees and Seminole. All these people have now decided to allow Black people to get some of the benefits. Well, we were Foundation Black American before we were Indians or Cherokees or whatever. So I don't know if they're trying to be a part of getting our reparations, but that's going to be just for FBAs. That's not going to be because you're a Cherokee or a Seminole or whatever the Indians trying to do now. But I do notice that I did notice that Ciara and Ludacris are over there in Africa somewhere. I would think it's Ghana or somewhere, trying to reclaim their birthrights. Okay, you're going to get your butt over there and you're going to miss the money over here. Don't try to jump back over here and be a FBA when you done ran and put your birthright over there in Africa. Okay, I don't know what the Democrats are planning on doing, but I think this reparation money is about to come out, and they trying to, they see that we're sticking on business as far as lineage, and they're trying to come up with some type of tactic to get a lot of Black people away from some of this money that's going to come out. We're owed a debt. They owe us. They have to pay us, and we have to stick and stay on code to get our money. There's no leader, there's only lineage. So if y'all don't know what FBAs are, y'all need to get the Googling and get the researching, and you can listen to Tariq Nasheed, you can listen to Professor Black Truth, you can listen to Phil, I think his name Phil Scott down in Houston, the African diaspora. I mean, you know, I don't know what that's all about. That, but he does talk about Foundation Black Americans. Can't think of the sister name. I always, and I, you know, when I'm doing this stuff, I get brain fog. But anyway, what's the sister name? She gonna kill me for not remembering her name. Anyway, y'all will see out there. She do the talk black to me. I almost said her name. Anyway, let's get back on this, y'all.
It's raining when a drop is not far from the sky to give you suspicions at the beginning. To see an officer put his hands on his weapon when you know you didn't violate a traffic violation, give you hesitation. But to be held at gunpoint, for a civil infraction, that's an infraction where you just only pay a fine, $15 at most, to be held at gunpoint. You know, since William represents our heroes of civil rights movement, as being talked about Rosa Parks. See, in 1955, she refused to give her seat up, and it started a movement. And in 2025, see William McNeil, college student, mentor, doing everything right. Everything he was taught to do by his stick it to police brutality, misconduct, a sheriff who's willing to expand a narrative that absolutely is a divorce from reality. I said a divorce from reality, because the fact remains that if a picture's worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 1 million.
Yeah.
The next day, William was arrested, taken to jail, taken to the hospital. At the hospital, he was diagnosed with a brain injury, closed head injury. The next day, he was sent before a judge, not knowing anything about the law. He pled, and Attorney Thompson about that to knowingly and into a plea when he has a closed head injury, suffer from remember his name,
And he's held for not having a hair light.
Spent 2 days in jail. So Attorney Robinson and myself, we're going to petition the courts and the Crown, because let me be very clear. The stop was unconstitutional. It wasn't just pretextual. It was racial profiling and unlawful. And he suffered a beating that nobody should suffer.
Now, this brother, these attorneys are trying to file civil cases on this brother's behalf and on all the Black Americans, I believe. But I just want y'all to look at some things that they are doing. Now, these are the same National Bar Association folks, lawyers and judges. Okay, look. Now, this is the. Let me go over here. Make sure y'all see this part. Yeah. Okay. Go back. Widen the screen here. This is what they're doing in Ghana on our behalf. Look at her. In America. Sure. All that drama. Okay, this is I think this is the president right here. They want him to have to all these Black attorneys and judges over here. We all fall for this. We won't get no They say we don't need to shut it down. Let me speed this up. There's enough we're in Ghana. Talking like this. Don't even know what's going on with this. find them. Right here. Oh. What's out here with this nigga? This nigga. Yeah, drama. These the ones and the brother. Right. Listen. Representative Murphy. I'm so bragging. I just want y'all to see that. We're gonna go with it. We're gonna listen to this leader something talk about what happened. Talk about what he think happened. I always tell y'all to watch these folks with no facial hair. Watch these folks. They have no facial hair on their face. But I'm gonna let him talk about what happened and give a legal perspective on it. Yep.
Was mistaken and he's wearing his seatbelt. Then both reasons are erroneous and the officers should not have pulled him over. What does that mean? It means that this young man can win in court. What this man cannot do is win on the asphalt. This driver is making a very poor decision in trying to argue his way and win his case.
Now he's making
in the street. He would be much better off, much safer if he could litigate this in court in a controlled environment where there are prosecutors who are judge who is hopefully reasonable and make these safeguards. And some of these officers, it appears, are not reasonable. It is my opinion in that some of these officers demonstrated very poor police work. And so what I am going to do in the latter half of this video is show you some officers in a very similar situation that performed excellently. This is not a racial thing. In this situation, you have black and white officers and a black driver. And in the clip that I'm going to show you with excellent police work, again, you have black and white officers and a black driver. But we're going to go ahead. What do we got? We have a cop making a stop. It appears to be good. But even if it's not, the driver is making the very first mistake in trying to contest this case on the street. He should take his tickets, sign it, and then show up to court and win there.
Give me your driver's license, right? Excuse me?
You open for a seatbelt violation and for a headlight violation. Sometimes drivers want to convince the officers that they didn't commit these violations. That is wrong. You don't try to convince the officers, you try to convince the judge. This driver is making some very serious mistakes in this traffic stop.
Step out of the vehicle. No, step out of the
vehicle. He needs to step out. He is not doing that either. This driver is setting himself up to be in a very risky situation.
When we do this, it's risky. White people do this.
Hands where I can see him, sir.
Everyday normal business. But when black people do this now, life is in danger right now.
Understand?
All one of these cops got to do is say, I'm good for my life. Bam, he's out.
Let's stop it. A lot of people have pointed out correctly that even the responding officers' headlights are not on. So it seems very hypocritical for officers to pull over drivers for their headlights when the officers themselves are violating the law regarding their headlights. But that's neither here nor there. If these drivers are committing violations, the officers have the right to pull them over.
Sir, this is your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window.
These people, officers don't
Open the
care
door and exit.
about no laws right now. They just want some harm.
Or we are going to break the window.
Disobey you. And you always have the nice stuff.
This thing. Can you step out? You're being done. There's a traffic stop in.
Let me stop it right here. These two police officers, the first officer with a very elevated, aggressive tone is saying, open the door. You're under arrest for resisting. The second officer, the responding officer, said, hey man, can you open the door? Can we talk? This is how you want your police officers interacting with the community. Let me put myself on the big screen for a second, because this guy, these police officers, all right, to protect us in hey, we're all
history.
Cops pull people over when they've just been fired from their job. Do any of these excuses justify crazy behavior? But he's not being aggressive. The police have indicated that they found a knife under his seat or by his feet, but they also indicated that he made no attempt to grab that knife. What you would want from police officers, can we really like a little kind of human to human?
Correct. Okay. So what did he ask for?
Look at this. Look at this. This officer is like, get out of the car. Get out of the car. The second officer says, hey man, let's come to a common understanding. Let's try to de-escalate this. Do you guys see how the first officer is escalating it? The second officer is trying to de-escalate it. Shout out to the second officer.
Like a Democrat. Both of them bad. So, how they do it. They play both sides of the fence. White supremacy, they play both sides.
Well, this officer is incorrect right here, but what all attorneys learn in our first year of practicing criminal defense is that officers are not attorneys. So many times they have a misunderstanding of what the law is. They will misquote the law, and that's fine. That's what courts are for. That's what judges are for. When this man says, hey, it's not raining, and the officer says, it doesn't matter, you got to have your headlights on, that's an incorrect statement of law. But that's fine. Let's keep going.
Can you put that long out when you step out of the car? Can you put
All right, let's right there. Guys, this right here absolutely is indefensible. There is no reason why this man should have been punched in the mouth. He has not been physically aggressive with these officers. He has not threatened these officers in any way. Just gentlemen, to see what the law is while you're on the asphalt. All right, that's what court is for. This driver is very confused about where he's at, but you are allowed to be confused without getting punched in the teeth. You're going to hear a lot of people review this footage. They're going to say, well, if he would have complied with this officer's lawful orders, this would not have happened. They're right. But even though they're right, it does not excuse this type of mistreatment, this type of abuse. Again, I'm going to show you a very similar situation where the officers there handled it beautifully. These officers can enforce the law without abusing the community. I could already tell from the way that this officer was conducting the traffic stop that he was looking to escalate the situation. It's come out that this officer has received numerous complaints in the past. Of course, his office investigates these and no real punishment was meted out. So many times when you practice criminal law, you will have these same officers on the witness stand. And as an attorney, you are cross-examining them. And let me tell you, so many of these officers, they do not like it. They feel like they should be the ones in power. They should be the ones in control. And when you start asking them very pointed answer, now they get their backs all bowed up. Here, this driver was not complying with what this officer wanted, and now this officer's back is all bowed up, and this officer's going to show this man who's boss. So the first thing that this officer does when he makes physical contact with this driver is punch him in the teeth. This is absolutely inexcusable. Now, let me say what they found. They found that this officer committed no wrong. This officer has been cleared of any criminal charges. So does this mean that if you don't follow an officer's direction, any officer can come up and punch you in the teeth? This sets a very bad precedent about how police can interact with us. And it justifies this long-standing distrust that some people, some communities have with the police. Punching this non-compliant but non-violent driver is an excuse.
Black people get killed right in here. When they grab him out the car, this is where they try to kill you. Look at him, he got his gun drawn right there. Black.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. Did you guys see the second punch? Punched him right in the mouth again. We're going to look at this in slow mo. People who want to justify this second punch.
This happens all the time.
While you're being ragdolled around, what does that look like? It looks like you're not complying. But what's happening is that you have 4 or 5 grown men tugging on you in different directions. Let's take a look at what's going on. We can see here that the officer who broke the window has his right arm around the subject's head and neck, right? Now look, he reaches in, he reaches back, he balls his fist up. As he balls his fist up, let's take a look to see where the driver's hands are. The driver's hands are behind his back. This man is causing no threat to the officer who's about to punch him in the mouth. Boom! right there. This is inexcusable.
You leave
Hits him
yourself-
right in the jaw. And again, this man's
in a
arms
bad
are behind
situation
his
when they
back.
get a
He
hold of
falls to the ground. Now, I'm telling you, it
telling
can
you, a lot
look
of
like
black
this
people
man is
not gonna
resisting,
allow
but I
this to
want
happen.
you to have 4 or 5 officers pulling and
Not
grabbing
afraid,
on
but they're
you,
gonna
pushing
feel that
you,
this will
pushing
happen.
your body,
This is
pushing your head
trauma
to the
for
ground.
black
Your
people.
pain receptors will cause you to move.
Eventually,
They've got they've got the driver down. Now look at this.
Like
The
this.
same officer who made the initial
We're
stop,
not
the
gonna let
officer
them
who
just punch
punched
and beat us.
the guy in the mouth
So,
twice. Now he's
telling
punched the
you,
guy in the back of
US
the leg,
police
in the
do something
hamstring.
about
Y'all
it.
see his
White
arm
America,
right
y'all need to
there?
do something
That's
about
one
it.
punch. Do you see his
Y'all need to do
fist?
something
That's the
about it
second
now
punch.
before it
It
get
looks
out
like,
of hand, and
oh
a
my
lot
God,
of
it looks like he
officers
gave him a
won't be
nut
coming
shot.
home.
Here's another
That's what I'm
punch, a
saying.
third punch. Here's another
They need to
punch,
stop
a
this
fourth
nonsense.
punch. Meanwhile, guys, this man has his
This is
hands
trauma
behind his
to us.
back, and there are 3 or 4 officers on his back, and this officer
We
is
see
still
fear.
pounding away on this young
Fear that
driver.
would
Here's
happen.
another
We're
punch,
not
a
afraid of you
5th
cops.
punch. Look at this
Fear
man. There's an
that'll
officer
harm
there
us.
with
So
his hands,
we
both
will
hands,
defend
on
us.
this
We
man's
must
head,
defend
pushing his
ourselves in
head
this
into
type
the
of
ground.
situation.
Meanwhile, you have, and that's fine. You have to get control of these individuals. I understand that. But why are you punching this man in the thighs? This is inexcusable.
Wrong with you? What you mean?
This is a black officer. Watch them turning their heads. This is what
All
I'm
right, guys.
saying.
So we see, in my opinion, the other officers have a problem.
This is what I'm saying, man. This has to stop. Black people can no longer deal with this type of brutality to us, harm to us. You know, this is trauma to us. We fear that this will happen every time we get pulled over. We fear, we're not afraid, we're not scared. We fear that we may not know how to react when a cop pulled us over. This is where it's getting to, because when a cop pull a black person over, this is life is death. Could be the end of his day. This could be the end of his life. And if you're a father, you got kids at home. If you're a mother, you got children at home, and you get pulled over by one of these race soldiers who ready to do you harm, and you know that you might not make it home because now these red and blue lights are behind you. Out of all the shit that go on in a black man's life or in a black life, now we gotta deal with this bullshit. And every man say this, every black man say this when they behind the wheel and a cop pull them over. We already going, now what the fuck? You know what I mean? You know, this is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We all saying this. Rich, black, poor black, all blacks. When a red and blue lights, when the red and blue lights get behind us, we know this could be the last day. So white America needs to do what's right. Give us, if they don't give it to us, we need to take it. We need to take the right to protect ourselves from this type of brutality from police officers. These people do us harm. It's not just a regular traffic stop. These are people who are ready to do us harm. Now, who wants to live a whole life like that? This is the way I've been living. This is the way most black people, most black men live. We live knowing that when a police officer pull us over, this could be the last day. We all know this. And we're not afraid. We're not scared of no police. But we're getting sick and tired of y'all pulling us over, doing harm. Knowing that this will be our last, that alone should make them create a law to protect us. But this is their way of harming us. This is their way of committing war crimes against us by allowing these race soldiers to run rapid on black people. Now, if they start doing this to black men, look, they're doing it to our black child now. If we were doing harm to white people, children, they wouldn't allow this. And black people, we shouldn't allow this either. This is one thing we should all stand up for. This is one thing we should all stand behind. And that's not allowing police brutality to black people anymore. That should stop. That's got to stop. Any hate crimes against black Americans who built the country, who founded the country, who made everything here, who keep everything going, should not be under terrorism by police officers. So I'm asking, and I'm saying this gotta stop. Black people are no longer gonna deal with this. We are fearing for our lives. Enough of this type of policing on black men. Thank you. This is Everything Black. I appreciate y'all joining me tonight. And let's see if we can go back. I want to show the last end of this.
Look, try to de-escalate this. Do you guys learn in our first year of practicing criminal defense? All right, let's stop it right there. Guys, this right here absolutely is indefensible. There is no reason why this man should